Hello, happy Saturday. Welcome to the show. It's just a hangout, place to unwind, get your thoughts out, socialize, chat, connect, clown, cut up, all the stuff we do here. Welcome. The link is pinned, the panel is open. Come on up and let's get the show going. And I'm gonna my shirt's unbuttoned. Hang on. I could make this into ASMR. Someone told me to put a puzzle up today and just leave like a brain teaser and just leave it on. And you'll get thousands of viewers and subscribers. I said, no, I'm the brain teaser today. Let's take a look at the news. I haven't checked yet. Maybe something new and exciting will have changed. I know they're doing those negotiations. Why is my mouse working? Come on. Technology. When are we getting our Neuralink where we just meld with the machines? Pakistan mediates high-level talks between U.S. and Iran. Ooh, that Swalwell looks like he's in trouble. They're clearing the mines, or they're setting up to clear the mines from the Strait of Hormuz. And ooh, there was a stabbing at Grand Central Station. A machete attack. But the cops got him. Okay, that's the news. What's new in your world? Not much new over here. It's cold. Not cold. It's cloud. It's rainy, gray. Coffee's warm though. And probably everybody's staying indoors. So here I am. That's all I got. I just opened up the space for people to come hang out and do a panel. Hang on. Give me a moment here, folks. I'm very scattered today. Usually when I'm trying to do a whole bunch of things at once. All right. Well, maybe I'll get back to my frog puzzle. And then if y'all want to come on panel, y'all come up and interrupt me. Today's just a very chill, low-key day. Not much happening, not much to talk about. It's all about the hanging out. Part of why I do this, a lot of why I do this, is to give people a space and myself a space to encounter other people and talk and have conversation. I think that's very important for humans to do. I love doing it. So that is why I am here. But I also love working on puzzles. Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to see if the AI could come up with the brain teaser. I think I will give you a brain teaser for today. Can you give me a brain teaser for today? Oh, I didn't spell teaser right. I hope he still gets it. He's smart. He'll probably figure it out. Oh, wait. I don't want to see the answer. Okay, here's the... A man leaves home He takes 3 left turns, and he returns home to find 2 masked men waiting for him. Who are the masked men? Oh, I love these kind of puzzles. Who are the masked men? So he takes 3 left turns. Masked men, people, that could be anything. So he leaves his house, one left turn, 2 left turns, 3 left turns, and then he's back at his house, and there's 2 masked men. Who could they be? You got to think outside the box. All right, now I have 2 puzzles to work on. Because the first thing I'm thinking of is cops, but like, why would the cops be masked? Two masked men. Here, I'm going to pop it in the chat. There you go. There's the brain teaser for today. You could chew on that. He leaves home. He takes 3 left turns. Why are they throwing that in there, the 3 left turns? What men wear masks? There's like medical mask. There's construction worker mask. There's superhero mask. There's like Mardi Gras mask. Maybe he was in a Mardi Gras parade, but why 2 men? Who comes in pairs? Who is waiting for you at your house in pairs that there would be 2 of? Are they waiting to take him away? Do ambulance drivers wear masks? It's something we're not seeing. There's something about this bigger picture. The man, the home. Maybe it's a particular man, a particular home. It is teasing my brain, though. I love it. It's teasing it hard, in fact. I feel like it's on the tip of my brain. It will be once I figure it out. Usually when you figure it out, it becomes very obvious. Of course, keep in mind, this came from the AI, so I don't know how well designed it is. Maybe it's funny to him or a riddle to him. Ski, maybe they're skiing. But why 2? It's, again, I come down to why 2. That's important. They wouldn't just throw that in there. 2 men in mask. He left his house and drove around the block. And then people were waiting for him when he got back. What was he like? Is he a bus driver? Where does he live? Maybe that's important. All right, let me I'm trying to focus on 2 puzzles at once. And this is honestly just to kill time. Oh, I just saw the answer. Okay. It's very misleading. Yes, it's very AI. I don't think it makes a good human puzzle. I'll tell you this, the house and the home and the it's deep, y'all. You have to read it very carefully. Hey, Spike, we're trying to solve this brain teaser. It's once you see it, it's obvious, but you have to really read it closely and almost decode it word by word. Because the picture's making you think one thing. It's putting one picture in your head if you just read it. But if you read it closely and think of other possibilities, another completely different picture comes into your head. Ooh, sorry. Especially, oh, I don't want to make it too easy. I'll give y'all a hint in a few minutes if no one figures it out. Don't Google. Just especially the first part. Read that closely and think about it. Oh, I just realized I am leaving a brain teaser up. Maybe I'll leave it up. See if it brings people. That was something that was suggested. There's this lady that runs a dog channel. It's like puppies. And she puts brain teasers up. Just a still shot of a brain teaser. And that's her whole video. And supposedly she gets thousands of views. And her subs go way up. I said, not really what I'm looking for my channel. But I can maybe modify it and incorporate it like this. You're getting close. Probably, you're pretty close. You're thinking in the right direction, definitely. I guess technically, yes. Sometimes you can leave home walking, I think. But you I know. Oh, you figured it out? Are you? Yeah, those are good hints. Especially when you remember that words can mean more than one thing. We talk about that on here a lot, how a lot of words are losing their precision and expanding across these very broad categories where almost anything fits into it. There was a chart. In fact, I'll show it to y'all. Hang on. This is worth looking at. It could be a chick. It could be anyone, really. Technically, it could be any human. Maybe not even a human. You could probably train some other non-humans to do the same thing. Let me see if I can find this chart. Oh, I put it in Discord, I think. Yeah. It's just something that came across my feed and thought it was very interesting because I called this, by the way. This is it's for NSTA. It's the national, what is NSTA? It's for teachers. National Science Teaching Association of National Science Teachers. Teachers of Science put this out. So it's to be inclusive in high school biology class. They show this chart now. I can't imagine them pulling out a chart like this growing up. And you have male and then traditional female, like just normal female woman personality. And you have male and a normal male personality. These are the only things that are not transgender. Every single other part of the category is, look, transgender identities. So now transgender means multiple things. It doesn't even just mean one thing anymore. Remember how gender started out meaning basically male and female, and now gender means 100 different things depending on who's using it? Well, look what's happening to transgender. It's covering everything. And I kept telling people with the LGBTQ letters, which is now MMLQQ2 something, that I said it's all going to end up being trans. Just given another generation, it's going to all be trans. Nobody's going to be coming out as gay or lesbian or queer or this or that. It's all going to be trans. Queer is another word that exploded and could cover anything. I think asexual people, I believe, technically are queer. It's anything that doesn't fit the traditional. So what's happening is you have traditional male, female, and however they have sex or what their sexuality is. Heterosexuality, just normal, a man and a woman get together and they screw. And then you have everything else. If it's not that, it can technically be counted as queer because it's a deviation, or it's kind of like the neurodivergence of sexuality. If it's not like socioculturally typical, it is now queer. So that's how you end up with straight queers. There's plenty of straight people who identify as queer. The entire kink community can be considered queer. I think there's probably more straight people there than even gay people. I know, well, I am old-fashioned. Gen X is now the old. We're the olds. We're antiques. Vintage. I am old-fashioned. And so are my words and my categories. This newfangled stuff is just like, it's like the new math. It's way too confusing for my brain. And I don't even think the generation themselves, the kids themselves, even get it. Or I think they just kind of go along with it. All right, let's check in on the clues. It can be a kid or an adult. And he's right. There are no right turns. That is important. He's going left for reasons. That is the question. You can only go left. Well, technically you can go right. You can go any direction. But the masked men might have something to say about it. I feel like we were the Merriam-Webster generation. To me, they're the Merriam-Webster generation because that's what it makes me do when I see what they're doing with the language. But honestly, growing up, we used to play around with language and be silly and have our own little nicknames for things. Let me put the riddle back up. Yeah, this is our brain teaser that we're trying to solve. A man leaves home, he takes 3 left turns, and he returns home to find 2 masked men waiting for him. And yes, there is a reason there's 2 men. Oops, why do I keep taking it off? Habit. Oh, well. Yeah, here's another hint. Pay very close attention to the first part, and if you crack the first part, the rest of it will probably fall into place. A man leaves home and he takes 3 left turns and he returns home. The what? The what? Well, I did say think outside the box. I think that would qualify. Oh, I'm also doing social media. All right. Oh, I guess back to my frog puzzle. It is open panel, by the way. I know it may not be obvious. By the way, everybody, Moose has new music out. He started his kind of Moose Radio up again, where he plays music and visuals on a loop. A lot of his songs set to visuals. So I'm going to drop the link to his channel. All right, there y'all go. You're thinking very broadly out of the box. That's good. I will tell you this. It's something very specific. It's not just any home. It's a particular home. He's making very particular left turns. And the masked men are very specific types of people. I'll give you another hint. The two masked men are not identical. I mean, they're different people. They're not. They are two different types of masked men. I think the masks are the same, but they're very different types of men. There we go. Sorry, I get in these puzzle trances, and my brain loses things to say while I focus. I'm trying to think of another clue to give. Spike's a lot better at them, probably because he understands the thing better. Probably because he lives in LA. All right, I'll give another clue. No, it made me too. I don't know that I accidentally peeked at the answer. I don't know that I would have gotten it either at all. They make me feel dumb too. So don't feel dumb. If I'm feeling dumb, none of you should feel dumb. I had a hint and I forgot what it was. Hang on, let me think. I have to think of it again. I mean, I could always get another one from the AI. He it's all in the phrase leaves home. A man leaves home. Because it probably has you thinking he's leaving his home. I will tell you this, the man is not, he's not walking out of a house, but he is leaving home. That's probably the essence of the riddle right there. Yes, exactly. He's leaving home plate. It's a baseball game. He leaves home. He makes 3 left turns. He returns home. And you have 2 men in mask waiting for him. Very good. What? Since there are no other topics on the table, does this happen? I don't know. I'm not a dog. I haven't owned enough dogs to know. How can that scare them? Like they don't know? Dog psychology. I'm going to tell it to give me another one, but without the answer. Okay, here's another one. I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, but I come alive with wind. What am I? I have no body. I speak without a mouth. I hear without ears. I come alive with wind. That's what's really throwing me. A kite, like a weather sock. Is it like an antenna, something that receives data from the sky? No body. What does come alive with wind mean? That's such weird phrasing. I come alive with wind. So is it like real wind blows into something? What does wind blow into? That would make something speak. but they hear at the same time. It's probably like the other one. We're not thinking out of the box. We're thinking. Wait, what? I had no idea. I should have had an idea. I've been on this thing long enough. I didn't. I wonder how many hours of somebody's day they would spend watching that. Okay, I'm too curious. I just need to know. I just need to see what this is a genre. Dog. Cats and dogs reactions to try not to laugh. Horse kicks tree, farts on dog, then runs away. Scared of fart. Dog farts into mic. Baby fart surprises a dog. They have one channel that puts a microphone up to a dog's butt and waits for it to fart. Oh my god. Y'all don't Google this. I had no idea. And these cameras are ready. This is all like high quality close up. This almost looks staged. None of this stuff seems like something you'd capture spontaneously. I wonder if people are faking it. See, now I'm getting conspiracied on these dog videos. All right. Well, I want to thank you, Spike. And yes, please hit the like if it helps. I don't know. I've given up on the algorithm at this point. Y'all, in fact, do what y'all want. Hit anything, hit whatever you want to hit on the channel. We hit a super chat. Okay, whatever this is fills up with wind. Speaks, hears, comes alive. This one has me stumped. You have to break down your ordinary thinking. So I'm thinking of hearing and speaking as something that humans do. You take in sound, speech, you output some kind of speech. So maybe it's different. Having no body. But coming alive with wind. That's such odd phrasing. I did see a channel of this guy. He has a lot of subs. He goes like to the park or the city, and he has a little can that makes fart noises. And he'll like walk past people and press it real loud, and they'll think that he tooted live on live, and he films their reactions. Like he'll walk past girls, and then he'll shoot it off, and the girls will start to react. That's his whole entire channel. Like every video he does is him with this fart can out in public. You could put anything on this YouTube these days, as you can see. Oh, the puzzle. Okay, let me think. What fills with wind? I speak without a mouth. Is it a speaker? And I hear without ears. So a speaker, maybe a microphone. I have no body. Is it one of those like things at the car dealerships, the men that blow in the wind? Because they speak in the sense that they advertise. They don't really hear. But I guess they technically do have a body. A body of water? Body. What kind of body? Oh, no body. Okay. I have no body. Alive with wind. What comes? Is it like a musical instrument, maybe? A wind instrument? I was thinking of something like that, but I don't get the no body part, and they don't really hear. A lot of things can speak. Signs, pictures can communicate things, words, text. I was thinking like a speaker at a drive-through, but that kind of has a body. It's the no body thing that's throwing me. Actually, all of it's throwing me. If we get enough people, we could technically maybe even do code names. We need 4, so 3 others. And you all have to have the ability to access the code names website. Is it an animal, a plant? No, it's nothing with a body. So does that mean it's not material? Maybe it's an idea. Is it a figure from mythology or stories? I speak. I hear. I don't have a body. Is it a ghost? But I come alive with wind. I can't get over that phrasing. That phrasing means something. I come alive with wind. I come alive. What doesn't have a body and comes to life? Comes alive. Is alive. How can something without a body come alive? What is coming to life? What can come to life but doesn't have a body? I don't know this one. I told it not to give me the answer. Here, why don't I ask the AI for a clue? Can we get a clue? It is not a living thing, and it only exists because something else makes it happen. It's not a living thing, but it can speak, hear, come alive, but it's not living. with wind. So something else makes it happen. So something else makes the wind. Is it a human doing something with wind? Is it something else doing something with the wind? But it sounds like the wind. Can waves speak or hear? Maybe a seashell? But it's not alive, but it also doesn't have a body. That's what's throwing me. So does that mean is it an object or is it something abstract, like a something virtual, something digital, or something like a idea or a character from a story, something fictional? But it can hear and speak. Come alive with wind. Oh, is it like the oracle? Would they blow wind into it and make? Come alive with wind. And it doesn't exist. It only exists because something made it happen. Two turntables and a microphone. Yeah, but to me that's a body. That here. All right. I'll get another clue. The clues are making it. I'm gonna get the answer because this may be an AI distortion. Yeah, it's kind of, we're overthinking it. It's really kind of dumb. It's something an AI would have come up with. The other clue is you usually notice it after a sound bounces back. It's really very corny. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Very close. Yes, exactly. Which the wind really threw. I don't associate an echo necessarily with wind. I associate it with acoustics. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's something. It's like AI thinking, but it's not something tailored to humans. Like an AI would think that one's clever, but humans are just gonna go, huh? So that's why I don't think the AI. I don't think Charlie is completely reliable at brain teasers. Let me Google for some human invented ones. No, not ones from Reader's Digest. Let me find some that Country Living, Reader's Digest, People Magazine. Wow, they must be popular in these ladies' magazines. I'm still. It's called lateral thinking. Okay, here's one. I'm not going to look at the answer. Yeah, wind was weird. A man walks into a restaurant and orders food. When the food arrives, he starts eating. How can this be without paying? He walks into, I mean, he could be the owner. He walks into the restaurant and orders food. When the food arrives, he starts eating. Also, you like a lot of times you don't pay till after anyway. This came from a website, so I can't vouch for how good it is. I mean, I eat before paying in a restaurant, usually, unless it's a fast food restaurant. They usually bring your check at the end. Is it an ordinary restaurant? It's a restaurant where you have to order food. So you have to tell somebody what kind of food you want. And then they bring it to you because it says the food arrives. Here, let's get some help figuring this one out. What's up? You ready to break your brain on a Saturday?
Yeah, as much as I love brain teasers, without clues, I am completely lost. But on this one, I would say because the check hasn't came yet.
Oh, it's even more stupid. I guess this is not a good website of them. Because he's part of the restaurant staff and he gets a free meal as part of his work benefit. That's so stupid. That's the same as, like I said, he could be the owner.
Yeah, that's
That was dumb.
to me, that's not too much of a brain teaser. It's like, hey, what is company policy?
Right. It's not. It's definitely not lateral thinking, and we were way overthinking it. What's up? How was your day, your weekend?
It's been good. I worked today. Hustled to make it a short day.
Oh, that's good. Did you use tricks, or you just got your work done?
Yeah, there's really no tricks.
Tricks.
It's just, push through, take no breaks, and that it is what it is.
Do you get to leave early if you don't take breaks?
Well, I have built up PTO, so it's like one of those things where, you have a 10-hour shift. Here are your accomplishments that must be completed before you leave. If you don't complete them before you leave, you get in trouble. But if you can cut your workday in half and take PTO for the rest of the day, like, kick rocks, brother.
So that's what you did.
Yeah, some people, it depends on the industry you're in and stuff like that. If you're paid on commission, you kind of want to stick around and do as much as you can to, earn your money. If you get paid by the hour, sometimes you have to stick around and make sure you get all your hours. But if you've got a little benefit saved up, why waste half a Saturday when you've already accomplished everything?
What kind of trouble do you get into if you don't finish your work?
Oh, I mean, if you don't finish your work and it's not approved, that it's called job abandonment.
Oh, like if your shift ends and you haven't finished it yet?
I mean, you really have to know your people, and your excuse better be valid. But I've put in 13, 15-hour days in very tough times when the market is tough and everybody wants what they want from us. And some people say, nah, man, that's my 10 hours. It's like, yeah, those are the people that don't stick around. So when I can turn a 10-hour day, it's a scheduled 10-hour day, but if the work doesn't last, 6 hours, be like, I'm going to click this computer and account for the rest of my time. Because
Howard,
accountability, it's an accountability issue.
yeah. And my job had we had little apps we had to use to track almost every minute of our workday to make sure we were doing things. How are the new people working out? I remember you were trying to get them trained.
The new people, they're going through the growing pains. You know what I mean? So excited to get the job, so ready to learn, but then they're settling in and not liking too much what they're seeing.
Oh,
However, these are the times where you stick with it, you recognize the benefits, not just pay and being full time and the things that come with that, but the fact that for the most part people leave you alone. Like we're kind of in a corner doing our thing. People leave us alone. They only come to us when we make an error or when something extra pops up and they're like, hey, I really hate to interrupt you, but can you do this for me? And I've been there long enough. I'm like, hey, go ahead, interrupt me. I'm good to go. I would love to help you out. Because that's teamwork. That's mission statement type stuff. You're not interrupting me. You're just using me for exactly what I do.
well, that's a great attitude. It's hopefully most people have it. Hey, Zach.
What's up, Zach? Yeah, I don't get bothered anymore. It is tough bringing new people in and bringing the teacher out of myself. But, when they start to realize, hey, this is the repetitive nature of what you do. It will never change. It is very simple and is very fast paced. However, there will be no surprises really. Just show up, go back and forth, and you're good to go. So they're going through the settling in, because some people are they get excited about new and about adventure and stuff like that. Well, cut off the new, cut off the adventure, expect the same thing every single day, and just know that you are the one that does this thing. And it is very rare that somebody will come and stop you in your tracks and be like, hey, I hate to interrupt, but this came up and it needs to go before everything else. And it's like, yeah, man, just give me the piece of paper and it'll be to you shortly. And it's taken me, the better part of a decade to get to nothing bothers me anymore.
Yeah, I don't even think you were at it like a few months ago when we talked.
Well, that was during, almost my first time in the teaching all on my own of the brand new stuff, the brand new people. So it was me alone teaching them because I have the experience. I know the numbers. I know how the system works. But I also kind of had to break down their excitement to get them to learn. And now they're, like I said, settling in. They're trying their own things. And they're kind of finding out that I gave them the simplest expression of what we do and how to do it. And the moment you leave simple, you're doing too much. It's going to slow you down. It's going to break your heart.
Were they that? They were really that excited about the job?
Well, at least one of them was. The other guy, he's just like, yeah, I'm here. I'll give it a go. He doesn't talk too much. He only asks questions when he feels like he doesn't know, but he runs the system exactly the way that he was taught to do it. He needs to build up speed, and he'll be perfect. But the other guy, it's like he's trying to reinvent the wheel, and he's rolling around on cinder blocks. You know what I'm saying?
Why doesn't he just do it the way you taught him?
Once I give you all the information, and I've answered all your questions, and I've watched you do it the right way, you want to try something? That's fine. We'll go slow today until you realize that I'm standing here with my arms crossed waiting on you. But then you have to come to that realization, because I'm not teaching you anymore. I'm your teammate, and I'm disappointed. And if you don't see it on my face, well, I'll deal with it. Because when they come to me,
he may be autistic and not read body language.
What's that?
I said he may be autistic and not read body language. I just know a lot of times if people are waiting for me to see something on their face, I usually won't.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm pissed. It's just, I just will take it as it is.
How long
I'm not
do
as
you think it's going to take him to figure out that the way he's trying is not as efficient as the other way?
Well, I think it's going to take. I think it's going to take no less than a full year.
Wow,
a full year, because the ebb and flow of the market determines. We're busy during holidays, like coming up to Easter, hella busy, and he had a rough time with it. And Easter's not even a big holiday. We're about to get into summertime. The 4th of July will be ridiculous for us. And then it'll slow down a bit, but then you have school starting back. It's not that big of a deal, but it elevates. And then you have Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and the Super Bowl. And we stay elevated throughout that entire time.
Wow.
So, you may think you're doing something, and it's like, oh, well, 15 seconds here, 15 seconds there, multiply that by hundreds. Well, you just added 2 to 3 hours to your day, brother. And it's one thing to naturally have enough work to where if you go hard, you can get it done, with 2 hours of overtime, but add 2 to 3 hours to that. That's a long daggone day. But I'm okay with it. I'll always be okay with it.
I mean, it doesn't affect you, does it? Like, if he's slow and stretching out his day, does it stop your ability to finish your work and get out of there on time?
As far as
what you're doing related to him, to what he's doing?
Well, as far as on time, meaning within the 10 hours, it has not yet. I mean, I spent some long days with him when he was brand new, and he really just kind of had to get the brunt of it. And those were long days. And I had the time to give. But it's really going to take a supervisor to come over during some of these tougher times and be like, hey, what's going on? What's taking so long? And it's like, hey, man, if you're not going to talk to him and ask him directly, hey, what's taking you so long to do X, Y, and Z? Well, how about you sit down with him and watch the cameras?
That
because
hasn't happened yet. Like a supervisor hasn't gotten involved yet.
well, no, because I guess during this lull, it really hasn't become an issue.
Oh, okay.
It definitely takes longer than it should, but it hasn't become an issue. But there, like I said, once we hit prime time, like you can't waste a second.
Was it rewarding? African wants to know.
Was it rewarding? Was what like teaching somebody and then watching them fail?
Maybe, I don't know.
Well, to an extent, because I think I've heard this. It's like even the best teacher knows when to let go of your hand, and send you out into the real world. So I can't account for their actions anymore. I am now their teammate. We are equals. And yeah, I could blow up the spot, but I still have to work with this person. So I don't want to break down communications. I don't want resentment and all that. And that's something that the supervisor really is going to have to eat.
Oh,
because I'm not
well,
going to
do you
it.
tell him that, like, hey, that way you're doing it is slower?
I was the one that taught him and said, don't do X, Y, and Z. And I said it till I couldn't say it anymore.
And he still kept doing X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, he's still doing X,
That's
Y, and Z.
weird. I wonder why.
But it's okay. Life and death is not upon us. It is about productivity, and I'll go as fast as I can, and I'll be with my teammates the best that I can. But if somebody's going to piss this dude off, it's going to be the supervisor, because the last two people, the reason why I have two new people working with me is because the last two people couldn't get along in this teammate environment.
I remember
And
that.
they got fired because they started going at each other a little personally, and it was on the verge of violence, and they both got fired for it. So to think that I'm going to say, hey, stop doing that. Hey, don't tell me what to do. Okay. I'm not even going to go there. I'm not going to even start down that road.
There might be a more diplomatic way to communicate it. Less contentious. But I just don't understand why he's doing it a different way than the company is wanting him to do it. Hey, Moose.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I mean, I've never been to a job where a company says, hey, we want it done this way. And I'm like, okay. And then I just do it a different way.
Well, like I said, there's the other guy. This person that's doing like this, very enthusiastic about getting the job, very talkative in the beginning, very smiley, love to come and learn and all this stuff. And he's become the problem.
Oh, not the slow guy, but the other guy?
The slow guy does it exactly how he was taught. Now, okay, there's two sides of it. One is supplying the pick machine, and the other one is the pick machine, which, that's like shooting a rifle versus giving somebody ammo to shoot the rifle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's slow and meticulous and getting better every day with the machine that would be shooting the rifle. He's hitting his targets. It's just very slow. But when it comes to giving me ammo, when he's on the other side, bro, he's on point. See a hole, fill a hole. See a hole, fill a hole. See something done, take it away. Whereas the other guy he'll touch the same thing 3-4 times and really take it nowhere.
Wow.
Like I said, reinventing the wheel. The slow guy is honestly 100 times better on that feeder side. But that means he has potential to get better on the building side. It takes time. He just has to feel comfortable. He has to build confidence. But as far as knowing the system from the outside of it, on the other side of the line, he is a very great defender. He keeps me moving. The other guy, I got to stop and look at my clock and be like, how long does it take to turn around in a forklift? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
But they're, aside from the work, they're both very good people. I want them both to build. I want the slow guy to get faster, and I want the overthinker to calm down a bit and just go through the motions, because that's what we do. It's nothing special about this job.
That can be hard for overthinkers. I kind of struggle with that too. Just doing something routine.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this job is not a brain teaser. There are no tricks.
I would check out very quickly a job like that. I mean, I could do it, but my mind would not be focused on it.
But again, to both of them, maybe. The slow guy is much more receptive to, hey, you missed. Please fix it so that way I can continue on. And he'll be like, okay, and just handle it and move on. He'll see the next thing and move on right to it. Whereas the overthinker, hey, can you push that in? You didn't push it in all the way. And all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, now I'm going to get like I said, that resentment for the rest of the day. Because I called him out because of an inch. It's like,
is he passive aggressive? Like, does he sabotage the job over it?
I don't like to say that, because I've been called out on that for some reason before. I don't like to think that it's intentional, but when you drive by a hole that you're responsible for filling, a dozen times, this whole thing has come to a halt because you refuse to fill the hole. I mean, it is work. Like, nothing's a cakewalk, even though I think once everything aligns and you understand both sides of the line, you would treat me the same way you want to be treated when you're building, or the same way when you're feeding. Like, hey, you need this, I would want that.
I mean, I don't have a problem communicating with my teammates either. I would just, whatever came up in the moment, I would just verbally communicate it to you, and we could work it out then.
Well, something I said in the training for both of them, and I was able to talk to both of them at the same time, was there is so much about communication. It's very important that you understand non-verbal communication. And I'm not talking about body language. I'm talking about, if this one has a piece of paper sticking up from it, it's done. It can go away. If there was a hole on the line, that hole needs to be filled. So, you on your side, you get to prioritize. But your job as a, giving product to be picked from, you need to prioritize keeping this machine going. I should be the one as the builder to choose when it stops, because I have to stop. I have to cut the plastic off of the product so that way I can pick it without there being an issue, a snag or something like that. We build on top of these plastic pallets or these carbon whatever they are pallets. They're not wood pallets, but they're pallets, right? Well, we have empty spaces where those pallets go. And if there's no pallets there, I can't build anything. A hole should be filled. Then you can concentrate on taking things off, because then I can stop and you can catch up while I'm cutting the plastic. This is all 101 type stuff. This entire job is get shit done 101. There's no degree required.
But it seems like basic communication would take care of all of that.
But see, that's another thing. The training was the communication. There was time.
Coworkers still need to be able to communicate in the moment. Well, if they're doing their job together, it all depends on each other.
And that really only happens when extremities, like oh hey, supervisor just changed, this product no longer belongs here, now we're running this product.
So you're saying like something like telling somebody to fill the pallets is not, they should just get that from training, and if they don't, then you don't tell them on the floor?
Right, that is the magic of the job. That is the nonverbal communication. There is a hole, and this is what I need in the hole. You already know what goes in the hole, so you not putting pallets in the hole. The builder should control the pace.
I would just tell them, hey, dude, can you put some pallets in the hole? Whenever there's an empty hole, please make sure there's pallets in it.
Again, this is day one stuff. So after 6 months and you're learning both sides of the line, what would you do for yourself? Would you leave yourself hanging?
I don't know how you go 6 months without knowing to fill the hole with pallets, if that's what the job requires. How do you make it 6 months and not have filled up a pallet hole?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Reinventing the wheel to a cinder block, because that's the way you want to do it. It's like, I'm glad you prioritize for yourself, but you're not prioritizing for the mission. And it will boil down to a conversation, but I'm gonna make sure there's plenty of evidence that can be looked back on these cameras, because everything we do is recorded.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what I'm saying though, because if it depends on everybody like coordinating together, then you almost need communication to do that. That's hard to do without verbally talking to the person and telling them what the needs of the moment are.
But that is exactly.
I would have a hard time coordinating if I couldn't verbally talk.
And it's not that you can't. It's that it is so simple that throughout the training process, I watched the dude grow. He did very well. I gave him the thumbs up. He got accepted for the position. I said, this person can do this. This person is very good. And then they started doing their own thing. Like,
so were they doing it right originally?
Yeah, it was,
so they know how to do it. In other words, it's not that they don't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. It was like going from a brand new baby to learning how to walk and oh my God, my man is running and he's doing a very good job. And now he's back to crawling again. It's like, come on, go back to where you were.
Well, yeah, why did he change it? That's what I'm curious about. I would love to tell him to come on my show. I want to know all this. Well, yeah, that's just weird. If he was doing it right after training, why did he suddenly change it? And well, again, like, why hasn't anyone said anything? Because if he changed it and it was affecting our coordination, I would just tell him, hey, whatever you just changed is not working. Please go back to the way you were doing it before. That's what was working.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Because there's something about, to me, maybe, but it's also inherent in this area, and that's why I explained to them about nonverbal communication. Is, you know, it's not me and the look on my face or my posture. If I'm not moving, that is nonverbal communication of, I need you to do something that you're not doing.
But do you tell them what that something is, or do they have to guess?
It is self-explanatory.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, it not always is. Because if I was in that situation, I would not necessarily know. Like, the fact that you stopped working would not necessarily indicate to me that there was something you needed me to do as a result. I might think that you stopped because for your own reasons, or you're taking some kind of break, or there's something. I would not automatically connect it to what I was doing.
Well, if you look at me and I'm not moving, and there's 5 holes on the line where product go, and every build space is either full or there's no pallets there, stop looking at me and start looking at those responsibilities that you need to fulfill. That's nonverbal communication right there.
No, but the light bulb doesn't always go off that way. So the reason you've stopped working is because you're waiting on these pallets that are supposed to be in those empty holes, and he didn't put them in there yet.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's what the point where I would tell him, hey, can you make sure these holes have pallets in them so that I can not have to stop. And then if they were empty in the middle of what I was doing and I stopped in the middle, I'd say, hey, can you please fill up the pallets? Like, I would get him to prioritize that immediately.
The thing is, for me,
And after enough times of that, it might like stick in his brain that, oh, let me remember to make sure these holes are filled.
well, the thing is on my side is they've been trained, they've accepted the training, they've excelled at their purpose, and then something flipped to where I'm going to do my own thing.
So was he filling the holes at first? He was like, you didn't have to stop. He was putting them in like he was supposed to.
For sure. For sure.
And then for some reason he stopped filling up the hole. That's what I'm saying. That is weird. I would definitely want to know why. Like, why are you suddenly not filling up the holes? You were doing it fine before. What happened?
Yeah, that's why I say it's like
that's not an optional part of the job.
It's like the difference between somebody that's assisting you and saying, "Oh, your tire's getting low. I'm going to be ready to fill it up the moment you stop. We're going to fill your tire up. You're going to have full air pressure, and then you can get rolling again." Versus just replacing your wheel with a cinder block. Like, okay, cluck clunk, cluck clunk, cluck clunk.
Have you ever asked him why? Like, why he stopped filling the holes? Because that seems like a big, obvious breakdown of the coordination. I mean, it doesn't seem like something somebody could just stop doing and nobody would notice or say anything. Oh, okay. Track had to step away, so it's me. Here, I'm not gonna lie. I've been working on the frog puzzle the whole time, so I will get back to that. But yeah, like if I was working with this guy and he suddenly stopped, he started doing the job a different way that affected my ability to do my job, there would definitely be a conversation. Like what is happening? Why are you not filling the holes anymore? Please fill the holes. I know you could do it because I saw you do it in the beginning. Just go back to that. Do. And we're still in open panel mode, folks. I'm just killing time. We're almost never not in open panel. This whole channel is designed to be a panel. It's a panel channel. It's a place for people to come together, talk, solve puzzles, troubleshoot, connect over stories, and pass the time. Laissez les bon temps rouler. Let the good times roll. To pass a good time, like we say back home. It means to have fun together. And I'm certainly having fun working on this puzzle. Anything else going on in the world? That's what I was thinking about social media. Like most of us that sit behind our computers and spend time on this thing are probably pretty detached from the world to even have the time and luxury to do this. And yet we read social media like it's all so immediate and happening outside our window and affecting our lives every second when we're quite insulated. The fact that we can sit and consume it all day shows how insulated we are from it all.
It's interesting to depend on people and have people depend on you, and to to participate.
It's kind of incredible that humans as a species has that ability to like cooperate and collaborate and get things done that none of us will be able to do on our own. And usually my jobs don't really depend on somebody else directly, but when they do, I definitely get that resolved pronto so that I can. There's no way my job's gonna just sit there and idle because somebody else is not doing their part. That's gonna get escalated very quickly.
And it's not that it can't. It's that does it have to? Because in certain situations, you know, it if you boil it down, either somebody knows what they're talking about or doesn't know what they're talking about. And when it all comes to head, does somebody have to go? And if that person is you, then you have to start all over again.
You think it's going to come to that?
Or if that person is not you, you are sending that person to start all over again. And I tell you what, when it comes to certain things, as much as I care about people, I can explain my failures, and I can explain my job. I can explain other people's failures, but I don't know how they're going to take it. So I would much rather them start over again in the same way they started over with me, rather than undo like damn near a quarter of my life.
But I don't see it as you're sending them off to start over. I see it as they are the ones making the choice. All he has to do is fill the pallets. None of this would be happening. So you're not sending him anywhere. He's sending himself there. So I don't see it as like it's either you or him. Like I don't see it as you're the one making the choice. He's the one making the choice.
And again, only time. Not everything, like you said about social media, everything has to be so immediate in your brain. This person still has time to learn. Still has to go through the growing pains.
But how long does it take to learn to fill the pallet hole especially when he was already doing it? So he knows it because he demonstrated it.
Well, again, to have gone through an entire year of market fluctuation shows it can really show where, because you can do this on an easy day and add an hour or so and it was still an easy day. But when you get to the tough days and you're doing this stuff, it's going to exacerbate and the failure, and it will become so much more abundantly clear with so much evidence that I won't have to say a word.
But it does sound like you're not saying one now.
What's that?
It sounds like you're not saying a word now, though.
No, I'm venting.
Oh, no, I'm in at work with
no,
him.
I'm
Is
not.
Is that the main issue? Is he's not filling up the pallets, or is it more complicated than that?
He's adding steps where they don't belong. He's basically double working himself and then not happy at the end of the day. Well, if you don't double work yourself,
no, that's detailed. Like, do you tell him that? Like, that's what I don't understand about this guy. Especially because you said he already knew the most efficient way from training, because he was doing that for a while. Then he changed it to some harder way.
He's doing his own thing, and I'm going to let him do it until supervisors recognize that, hey, what's going on over here?
But why not just tell him that his new thing's not working?
Well, because I taught him the right way. He did it the right way, and now he's doing his own thing. If he wants to do his own thing, that's fine. I'll let him dig his own hole.
But it's his own thing is also affecting your thing. So it's not completely fine.
It's definitely frustrating, but it's not. Honestly, him going slow gets me paid more on some days.
Oh, okay. So now the truth
It,
comes out. It is more complicated.
it's frustrating when you have this pace, but what do we say? I get paid by the hour. You go ahead and do whatever you want, bro. Go ahead. Be slow if you want to. I get paid by the hour. You know, there's a lot of days, even on tough days. I could be out of there in 7 hours instead of 10. But if you take a 6 hour day and make it 10, I'm gonna be frustrated with you the entire time.
Yeah,
Just
I would be too. Like,
it's not about stretching out the
wouldn't happen
day
very often.
because people are waiting on us. So it's not about the hours, it's not about the production. It's about, are we ahead of schedule for the rest of the people that are depending on us? So I'm depending on him. Other people are depending on us to put things out. And just like there's another level depending on the people that take the things from us and add more to it and deliver it to the dock, just like the trucks need to be delivered on time. Hey,
Is all of that, because that's a production line thing, and so supervisors are the ones supposed to be seeing if the pipeline is flowing. Is there any outcome at the end that would cause them to scrutinize it, or are the trucks getting there on time?
You know, for the most part, as far as I know, the trucks get where they need to be because the work does get done by the end of the day, and what we build today goes out tomorrow. But you know, whether somebody had to work 6 hours or 10 hours or 15 hours to get those trucks loaded the night before, so that way they can leave in time at 4 a.m. the next day. You know, yeah, they'll be loaded and ready to go. That seems to never be a failure. But if you're people that should have been out of the building at midnight are finishing loading the last load at 4 a.m., there's a freaking problem.
But all the people at the top are going to see is that the trucks are getting out. So unless the supervisors or whoever's in charge of those particular duties communicate to them that there's an issue, they're not going to notice that part. They're just going to see, oh, everything's working, the trucks are getting out.
That's not the only thing.
It's my job.
That is not the only thing.
The supervisor rarely got involved unless it directly affected the final product, or some supervisor under him communicated it up the chain. So it was the immediate supervisors in each little department that was responsible for bringing the issues to the attention of the people higher up. And if they didn't do that, oftentimes it never got noticed.
And you know, maybe some of my own problems with other people's actions. And I'm not sitting here saying I'm perfect. I have bad days. Trust me, I do. But maybe my problem with my coworkers is the fact that I don't want to, you know, overstep my bounds and be like, hey, I need you to do it like this and correct them, because I don't have any authority over them.
No, but you're a coworker. You're a team, and so it is within your bounds to communicate with the people on your team that you're coordinating with. I don't think that's overstepping anything.
But at the same time, I feel like supervisors aren't doing their checks and balances and coming witnessing each part of what they are responsible for, and to make sure that things are going according to plan. Because, you know, like I said, why did you work a 10-hour day? Or, why did the working a 10-hour day is like what we're subscribed to, as long as we're busy and fruitful within the business. However, why did it take you every bit of that 10-hour day to do something that could have been done in 7 hours? Why is
Well,
your
where are the
efficiency?
supervisors? Like, why aren't they paying attention to any of this? Maybe they're relying on you and the people on the ground to let them know if there's anything. Because my supervisor hardly ever, he knew I knew how to do the job, so he almost never came and looked at anything I did unless I brought a problem to him. I didn't. So there were some days where I didn't even see him the whole day because he had no reason to even be in my area. And unless I communicated something to him, he didn't pay attention. Like he didn't. He just assumed I was doing everything like I was supposed to because I was. And so maybe like if the supervisors are neglecting your area, maybe they think it's because they don't need to pay that much attention to it. And unless one of you communicates to them that, hey, there's something, the team's not working like it's supposed to. There's a coordination issue. So then you're in the position of, do you tell the coworker and give him a chance to fix it, or do you tell the supervisor instead, but then potentially escalate with the coworker? I've been in those situations where I wasn't sure if I should just address it with the person, or maybe I tried a few times and it didn't work, but I didn't necessarily think it was worth getting the supervisor involved because that would make it a bigger deal than it needed to be. But sometimes I had to.
I got you. And maybe I should, have a bit of a conversation with him as best I can about prioritization.
It just depends on how much of it is a him or how much of it is a supervisor worthy issue. Because I always start with the lowest level. If I can work it out with the person directly, there's no need to involve any other person. So I usually start there. But if after one or two tries there and it's not working out, I might need to bring in another person at that point. Unless the issue's big enough where I know that it's something that a supervisor is going to want to know. Even if I can work it out one-on-one, I still know that it's something the supervisor needs to be aware of because it's a larger issue than just an immediate like communication thing. And so I don't know if this particular issue is something that is just with this one guy that you can work out with him and then he can get back on track, or if it's something that like is more supervisor like.
I feel you. Because the difference between, like I said, the quote unquote slow guy that is awesome and the enthusiastic person, as far as that side of the line when I'm building, is it's about 20% efficiency. So I can get over 100% with the slow guy. And I hate, let's just, we're just going to call him the slow guy because he doesn't talk. He just does. Whereas
So
the enthusiastic guy does way too much and is much actually slower. You know what I'm saying?
So you only get like 80% with him and 100% with the quiet guy?
Yeah.
So yeah, that definitely seems like an issue. And it sounds like you also know the specific areas that are dropping you to 80%. So like there's very specific things you could bring up with this coworker.
And they are all fundamental things. They are all true from the beginning. They're like I said, there's no tricks. There are no tricks. It's
That makes it even easier to bring up. Because if it's
pick it up.
stuff that he should have mastered in training and that he was demonstrating initially, that's even easier to bring up.
And that's probably what I'm
Like,
going to
hey,
have to
when we
do.
were in training, when they taught us this, and I noticed now you're doing it this way, but we really need to go back to how the training wants us to do it. Because you have something to reference already that he's mastered and is concrete.
I mean, it's like if I tell you to, put your drawers on first, then your socks, then your t-shirt, then your pants, tuck your t-shirt in, then put your blouse over that, and then put your boots on. But, if you put your blouse on first and then have to take your blouse off to put your t-shirt on, and
wait,
then
you
put
say
your
blouse? You're a blouser instead of blouse?
Well, that's what it's called.
It's a regional thing. You're from the blouse area of the country, and I'm from blouse.
Well, imagine a military uniform, the fatigues. The blouse is the outer upper, but you still wear a t-shirt under it. You wouldn't put that on and then take that off to put the t-shirt on and then put the blouse back on. That's twice as much work, right?
Yeah, like I don't care what order someone puts something on unless it's affecting what I have to do. So if that's the situation where he's not putting the things on in the right order and it's affecting you, to me all you have to do is tell him to put them on in the right order. Like the order you were taught in training, just put them on that way.
Okay. That'll help me, but
like it doesn't even seem like much of a conversation. You just need to redirect him to what he was already doing when he came out of training, that he learned from training. You don't even really need to know why he changed or anything. Just tell him to go back to that way. Unless there is a specific reason he's doing it differently that makes sense that you're not aware of. But to me, it seems like he could just go back to the way he was taught.
Yeah, I did look back at my own words, which I think I'm going to have to own up and correct. As I said, think about it as a game. You can create your own game out of this job.
Oh,
but
that's what he's doing.
But that seems to be the thing. Is like, in some way, shape, or form, in his brain, he's created a game, but he's not winning the mission. Like, it's his game, not the mission game. So he's not winning. He's doing what he wants to do rather than what he should do to win the game.
You think he's aware of that? Like, how aware is he of how his game is affecting?
But that clicked with me, and it said, you know what? Maybe I messed up there, because he did it, and he was doing it. He was doing what he was supposed to be doing, and now he'll pick something up and he'll put it down, and then he'll do something else, and then he'll come back to it, or he'll put something in his own way, and now he's got to move it before he can do that. So that's a double touch, and then he'll do this other thing, and then he comes back, and then he'll finally pick up that thing. So that's 3 times touching something that could have been a touchdown. And now it's a loss in time. You just lost a minute. And a minute times 100 is over an hour.
100 minutes. That's like over an hour. Over an hour and a half.
So, yeah. It was my first time teaching somebody, but at the same time, like, it didn't take me this long. It didn't take my very first partner that I was learning with for the very first time this long.
But you
The two
said that
people.
he got it already. When he came out of training, he was doing it. So it's not even like he's not catching on. He did catch on.
Yeah,
He just changed.
and he used to come in every day like excited about this job. Like I've come in like, what am I doing with my life sometimes? But I own what I do now. Like the company depends on me, and I give them exactly what I signed up for, and I'm happy about it now. I've grown. I own what I do. I own my mistakes, but apparently now I have to own them too, and that's tough because I want to shape both of these gentlemen into owning this, because this is what we do. This is where the fun is. This is where people leave us alone. This is where we make our money. This is, and it's easy. People look at us at work like fighter pilots, like, oh, those are the special guys. We're not special. We just own it, and I want them to feel that. But you know, maybe I said the wrong phrase along the way, and now he thinks what he's doing is right, but it is not right.
Yeah, I think somebody needs to tell him. I mean, whether it's you or a supervisor, and get him back on the way that's helping the team.
He definitely has, we're not talking about like a special person here. This guy has what it takes. But he doesn't come into work excited anymore. He comes into work like, oh, this is what I have to do. I don't know if it's me, like, oh, I got to deal with this guy that winds up, standing with his arms crossed, waiting on me, or, maybe he's waiting for the next thing on the horizon, which, as far as I know, there's nothing next after this. Like, unless you learn how to drive a semi truck, there's nothing else.
Well, the only part you really need to figure out is how to get him back on because that you can't really worry about why his mood changed or his enthusiasm level or anything like that, as long as he's able to do what you need him to do. He can be as excited or not.
Yeah, I feel that, because, like I said, the better part of a decade, and I've been on both sides of the line. In fact, every other day for most of my time was, you're either building or you're feeding. You're either building or you're feeding. It was equality. Whereas now, because management doesn't trust them to really push the limits of building, if I'm in the building, I'm building.
So you're mostly building, and they're the feeders?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And one feeds better than the other.
Because the slow guy still hasn't picked up his speed with the building machine. And the other guy, it's not that he's not gained significantly in the building aspect. It's just like, if I'm here, they want me building. But my problem is, I would rather feed this guy, and maybe that'll be the first step is, hey, stop this. He needs to feel it. He needs to feel what it's like to not have to be waiting for an empty hole to be filled.
Do you have the option to swap off, or that takes a supervisor to reassign your roles?
Well,
Or can
it
you
takes
like
up.
try like say, hey, can I feed today? And why don't you do the building part?
I mean, honestly, I think I can say that at any moment. Um, but I do have to protect the mission. So if I have a conversation with, my supervisor, then I can be like, hey, instead of, giving the slow guy the easy days so that way he can learn, well, continue to do that. Continue to do that. But when I work with the excited guy, let me feed him. Let me show him what the other side is all about. And because when I'm building, I'm also watching my feeder. And when I'm feeding, I'm not just looking at holes. I'm thinking about, hey, did I get more of this so far within the first hour? Because that means I'm going to be going through
Oh,
that.
hang on, Leggy, come back up. I didn't see you. It didn't give me my doorbell. Leggy was in the back waiting to come on.
Yeah, bring Leggy up.
Yeah, if you're out there, come back. I didn't hear the bell.
I'm sorry, I'm being a loudmouth about my job, and
No, go. No, I want to keep hearing about it.
well,
Just
it's a never ending conversation. That's what my job is.
if you're
Over the
able to swap
backwards.
off and give him a chance on building, and that might get him to see what you're trying to show him.
Yeah,
Then try that.
I think that might be the first nonverbal communication. Will be that let me give you what I expect from you. I think that'll be a good step. So that way, before I say something to the guy, be like, hey, watch how I give you what I expect from you. I think that'll be a good step. Because I've been doing this a long time. Every second counts. Everything does take time. There will be waiting periods for everything, always. However, creating waiting periods unnecessarily, that's not a good thing.
Yeah, that's why I just tell. I have no problem telling the people I work with. If I need them to know something, I just tell them. Or if I need to know something from them, I just ask.
Leggy's in the back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, no. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. He left. If you're out there, Leggy, come back. I didn't see the
thought he came back.
message. Sorry, I'm doing. And we're back. Hello, folks. We're hearing more about this dude at Tracks Work.
Well, I looked up my horoscope, and it's energetic. You pick and choose about the details that you pay attention to, and courteous and kind. And I think that's maybe the courteous and kind part, I think, is why I can't find myself so eager to call someone out for their failures.
But it's not a fair. It's just him not doing it the way you need it to be done. Like you said, if you need him to put his drawers on first and he's put his boots on first, just tell him to put his drawers on first. It's not a failure.
But but letting somebody do it their own way is exactly. It's like, hey, that's your way.
Yeah, but they don't get to do it their own way if it's messing everybody else's job up. They have to do it their own way within the parameters that still keep the rest of the team functioning. I mean, this is a grown adult man, right? He should be able to handle being a request to revert to the way he was trained to do the job that he was already doing correctly.
Yeah, and again, I can't give somebody 10 years of how I learned, all the failures, all the messes being cleaned up, all the wrongness that was done, and all the personalities that were over here. I can't give you that, but I can give you the fundamentals, and the fundamentals, they're pretty cut and dry. But just like I learned by, trying, cheating, trying to cheat and watching it fail, and this, that, and the other. It's like, he has to go through it. And 6 or 7 months, however long it's been, I can't hold him to the standard that I hold myself to. I can just give him the education, and maybe a simple call out might be like a bug in the ear that just keeps on whispering to you. Because
you can hold him to a reasonable standard of what you need to get the job done as a team. And
no,
he's not even meeting that.
It's the methods. It's not his ethics or anything like that that I don't believe. It is his trials. They aren't working. But I've had to give it some time to be able to put it on the clock to even be able to call it out. Because, one bad day, 2 bad days, a month of bad days, to me, that's not enough to be like,
what? Are you kidding? 1 bad day is enough for me. They're lucky if they get 2 bad days. I can't envision any kind of workplace problem going past 2 days if it's affecting my part of the job.
Well, I don't believe that's how people get shaped.
I'm not trying to shape it. I'm just trying to get them to do what the company's already paying them to do. Especially if they've already demonstrated that they know how to do it. Just do it. You showed us that you know how. Now go do that thing.
Yep. I don't know. Maybe I'll put it on myself on the shaping, because it's easy to be like, yeah, you're not doing it. You don't cut the mustard. Goodbye. But then what do you have to do? You have to start over again. And well, that's why you do the shaping process.
It's not your responsibility to keep him from having to start over somewhere if he's not working out.
But if you have the opportunity to shape, then you could.
I don't know.
You
I
could.
don't work. I let people shape themselves through their work. Like that's I let people shape themselves. I just show them how to do the job, and then through doing the job, they will shape themselves. I just need to make sure
Well,
they're doing the job like they're supposed to.
a diamond doesn't come out of the ground and go under somebody's ring. It gets cut
But
1,000 times.
I know, but I don't even think we're talking about diamonds here because like you said, it's a very simple job. It's not like anything on that level.
But you're talking about a person that needs
A
a
grown
job,
person, a grown person.
and they need. I believe they need. I believe people need shaping.
There may be times that people need a certain amount of shaping, but this doesn't sound like a shaping issue. How much shaping does it take to get him to go back to the way he was trained? This just seems like a very simple communicating an expectation. But see if your idea works of swapping roles.
I think the show and tell may have an effect because, like I said, these things are
Okay.
recorded, and rather than just pull up him and pointing it and saying you did it wrong here, you did it wrong here, you did it wrong here, if we swap roles, that will be recorded as well, and then we can say, hey, you see how you didn't have to stop when track was on the other side of the line? Like, you never stood there with your arms folded. You never stopped that machine. You never had nothing to do. Whereas, then flip it and be like, hey, this is what we saw from you. Like, hey, you drive by an empty hole, you didn't fill it. He can't complete it without, X product. He can't build if all the build spaces are full and you're just, he's not slow. In fact, he drives very fast. But his prioritization contradicts progress. I can't, if like, again, if you're giving me ammo to shoot the gun, and my gun runs out of ammo, and you're over here picking up empty shells and pointing at enemies, yeah, that's all fine and good, but I can't shoot the gun unless you give me ammo.
But you also can't, you have to verbally communicate that to him. You can't just sit there until the light bulb goes off.
Well, I'm not Thomas Edison. I didn't create this light bulb. I'm sorry.
If he's not filling the pallets or whatever, then he needs to. Someone needs to tell him, "Hey, dude, fill the pallets." That's part of what you're paid to be here to do. It's not a complicated. All of this sounds very basic. None of it sounds complicated to communicate.
This is not brain surgery, bro. And that's why I say the slow guy. Oh God, he's like 10 times better. He sees a hole, he fills it. He sees something done, he takes care of it. He doesn't do anything extra. There's no, he could disappear and go get a coffee and be gone for 5 minutes and come back and catch up within 1 minute. Whereas this guy is right in front of me for 5 minutes and I'm just standing there waiting for him to pick something and do it. Just get something done.
Tell him that. Does he just stand around? Tell him.
No, it's the overthinking. Like, he'll stare at something trying to figure out what's my next move. and then it's never the right move.
But how was he doing it so well after training? It sounds like he knew all the moves. What is he overthinking? Because he already had learned the stuff.
Well, for instance, say all the build spaces are full, but I'm missing like 3 products of, built, from the line. He will take off and set down right in front of the line, say 3 or 4 completed pallets, rather than taking them to their final destination. And then he will proceed to fill the empty product spaces. So it's like, hey, I opened you up for building, and now I'm going to give you the products. Whereas if you start with filling the products, now I can stop and I can cut my plastic, and then you can catch up because I'm not building. I chose as the builder to not build because I want to cut this plastic so that way it's clean builds. But no, but when you take something off the line and you don't take it to its final destination, that's a double touch because now you have to touch that thing again. And wherever you put it, it might even be blocking you from putting something on the line. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I believe I do. What I don't see is why someone doesn't just tell him this. Like, hey, when you take a pallet, go bring it over here to its final destination before you do anything else. Just make that standard procedure.
And that seems to be the weird thing why I don't want to say it again, is because I said it for 3 weeks.
But he was doing it for 3 weeks, right? You said he was doing everything right at first.
There was about 3 weeks of being brand new, and then he probably had about 2 months of, hey, you got this. You get my voucher. I'm gonna tell supervisor, hey, this guy wants to be over here. He's excited about being over here, and he gets it. And then 5, 6, 7 months, it's like, the fuck you doing, dude? You're doing your own thing. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yeah, I don't know why it's so hard to tell him that. Like, why did you stop bringing the pallets? Please continue to bring the pallets to where they belong.
Yeah, and I admit it. I'll say it here first. It's a me problem. I don't like confrontation. It's hard. It was hard enough for me to give the 1 + 1 = 2 conversation to these people. And I was so excited when they got it to have teammates that I can go to work because this is not a game to me. This is my occupation. And I want it to be their occupation because I understand, people have families, people have rent, people got bills to pay, people.
You can't worry about all that though.
But we are equals in this world. The same things I need, you need too, and this is how we choose to get it. And then you flip the script and you act like a fucking retard. Pardon my language. But what happened to yesterday when everything was so smooth? I didn't change. And it's only going to get harder from here as far as the market throughout the progression of the year. 4th of July is going to wreck hell. I don't know who's going to work the 4th of July, but if I have the 4th of July off, you might get fired that day. It's not that sensitive, but you understand what I'm saying. Like, every single time I have time off and then I come back, It's like, oh man, it's like night and day. Oh man, thank God you're on our shift, or something like that. And it's comforting, but at the same time, no, it's not. Because the mission is mine even when I'm not here.
Well, whatever anxiety or resistance you're having about communication with this guy, if that's what the issue is, um, it seems like two adult team members should be able to communicate about basic work needs.
Yeah, I agree. I'm apprehensive about saying anything.
Why? Have you had other coworkers where they weren't doing their job right and you needed to do it a different way?
No, I mean, yes. But I mean, I've worked with lazy people. I've worked with people that 100% understood the system, but they would take advantage of one side or the other. So, and I'm not scared of my supervisor. We basically started about the same time, so we've both been there with the company for 10 years. Well, I've been there 10, he's been there 11, but we both came from the bottom.
Well, what is your worry? What are you worried about telling this guy? Because I have seen you on here. You say that you don't like confrontation and you don't handle it, but I've seen you on here be very direct with people when you needed to be, and you did it very well.
Well, nobody on here, on any panel I've ever been on, controls my livelihood.
So you worried you might say something that'll get you in trouble?
It's not necessarily get me in trouble. It's that resentment and animosity, because I can work through that, but it's still not pretty.
Like on his part, if you tell him to do his job like it's supposed to be done, he might develop resentment and animosity. That's not normal. In normal coworkers, that doesn't happen. They're like, oh, okay. And then they go back, they go adjust to how you need them to do it. So if you're worried that this guy is going to have some kind of feeling about it, you're not dealing with the normal coworker in the first place.
So the professional communication, I've seen it. It can come off as harsh. And then if your teammate takes it some sort of way, like a personal way, then they will refuse to communicate to you back.
They're only going to hurt themselves. That's passive aggression.
Well, maybe that's me. Maybe that's what I am.
But I'm saying like that is not a normal workplace situation. If that's how they're going to act. Yeah, especially over something as small as this.
And for some reason, I see the instance, I see the fix as being such a small sentence that you can say to somebody. Like, hey,
But you worried if you say it the wrong way, he's going to react some kind of like it's going to affect your ability to work together.
because he, you know, it. What I'm gonna say or what I would say wouldn't get him fired, and it wouldn't make him quit. But it could affect our workplace relationship. Not saying, that it has to be all this, that, or the other, but all of a sudden, I've had people say things about me to the supervisor, and I got pulled into an ethics meeting. And I'm like, pull up the videotape. It's like, well, no.
Oh, so you've been through this before.
I've been called all kinds of things.
What?
What? But I'm the one that's been there for 10 years.
What was the ethics they accused you of violating?
Somebody said that I was intentionally either taking their shift or sandbagging during their shift.
Which you probably were not. So that was just a person either lying or making something up about you or just really confused.
And I said to this manager, I said, is this something I have to sign? And he goes, no, I just wanted to go over the policy with you. So it wasn't even an official thing. It was just like
okay.
And hey, you best believe that tightened me up real quick, because I have never come to my job and intentionally harmed my own team. I don't think things done. You can have a bad day. You can be hungover. You can, you can not like the person you're working next to, but the mission comes first, not how you feel about the person next to you. I'm having a hard time because I'm trying to build a team of capable people, not become some sort of a personality that is like, oh, you got to listen to me and you got to do what track says and yada, yada, yada. I don't want that. I want you to do what you're supposed to fucking do.
But if they're not doing what they're supposed to fucking do, you have the responsibility to communicate that to them, is what I'm saying. That's how you get the team that you want. And if you're resisting doing that because of some emotional reaction that you foresee this person having, that's weird. That is an odd situation to me, because normally if you were in a coworker situation, you said, hey, can you switch it up to this way? That would be the end of it. There wouldn't be any kind of emotional fallout over that.
And I also think, in the free world, in the free employment world, and everybody being individuals, it's like, no, you don't get the team that you want. You get the team that you get. Make it work. So,
but you're getting the team you have now because you're not communicating to see if it's the team you could have. So part of it is you keeping the team where it is by keeping this guy where he is, instead of giving him information that could potentially make it a different team.
Well, I can tell you, I can show you, I can do it for you. And if it doesn't click, like at the end of the day, who am I? Like,
but it's not a click issue, because you said he already was doing it the other way. So it's not that he doesn't know how to do it. He does. He just needs to be told to do it that way.
It's all good. Hey, I didn't mean to hold your show with my job, but you asked me about it, and I'm passionate.
Oh yeah, no, this I'm glad you brought it. There was nothing else going on. This is perfect. I like to problem solve, so I'm just like, I can see the situation, I can see solutions, but the simplest one to me is just communication on your part to this guy. But then there's all of these other factors you're worried about that is I'm trying to understand, because those are not normal to me. Those would not normally be an issue in this situation. And in my jobs, if I needed to communicate something to a coworker and I did, and it caused some kind of issue, then at that point, that's the supervisor's job to step in, and that's usually what happens. Like, okay, well, let's just get a super. If it's that much of a problem, let's just get a supervisor.
Yeah, because I mean, I've always been okay with a supervisor coming in and telling me I'm wrong and that I need to fix it. And you know what I do? I say, yes, sir.
Have you told your supervisor about this guy? Like, he's not doing the pallets and not bringing them where they need to go?
No, that moment hasn't come yet.
So you're the one kind of keeping everything where it is until you make a decision on how to proceed.
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah.
And you can either proceed with one-on-one with this guy and giving him the information, or you can proceed by giving the information to the supervisor. And each one, I'm sure, has pros and cons. But it's like you're at a crossroads, and the decision's up to you.
Yeah. I just, that idea of being a tattletale. It's like, oh, I don't like this. So I'm gonna go and tell on you. Yeah, I should bring it to him first. My coworker.
Well, what's stopping you? This fear of his feelings?
Yeah, the confrontation. Been like, hey, man, hey, I'm noticing that you're, maybe talking it out with, with the mirror might help. So that way I don't find myself saying the wrong thing. Because
it might. Usually I find that no matter how much you practice and rehearse in the moment, like, you can't predict how you're going to be in the moment once you start having that conversation. So you need some kind of like plan to kind of roll with it, regardless of what you rehearse or practice. Because I do that all the time. I plan it out in my head of how I think it's going to go, or I'm going to go. And then when it actually happens, it's rarely the same as what I had planned for in my head.
Yeah.
But you're pretty good at communicating and adjusting in the moment. At least on here, I've seen you do it.
Yeah,
Is that whatever you say is going to cause him to go back and talk to because that's the position you're in. Like, do you talk to a supervisor and potentially make it worse, or do you talk to him and then have him go to a supervisor or potentially make it worse? But either way, it sounds like there's a risk of a supervisor involved that you're worried about.
Yeah, I think and I've been in situations like this before where it's like, hey, supervisor, I want to talk to this person, but there's absolutely no way that I'm gonna talk to them without both of our, we are a section, we are equals, right? But this conversation cannot be had without your supervision, right? That's what a supervisor does. So I may be the senior employee, I may be the one with the knowledge trying to correct things, but maybe that would be better, and be like, hey, hey, supervisor, I'd like to arrange a conversation when we have time. I know the days when there will be time because I know the numbers like that. Be like, hey, such and such a day, we're already scheduled together. I'll tell you first thing in the morning when we're going to be done, and then we all need to kind of come together to bring up these numbers because I may have something to say about the tactics. You can pull up the camera. It's not about defending me or acknowledging my complaints, but it is about proof. And then, so because I've done this stuff before, and it's not so much about me calling you out, but supervisor's going to supervise and they need to moderate. So if I'm going to say, hey, you're doing X, Y, and Z, and it's hurting the system, at least I can say it in front of a supervisor who is bound by policy. Like, we're all bound by policy, but a supervisor.
You're going to end up you're going to choose a supervisor route, because if you do that, you're going to end up having to explain the issue to the supervisor in the first place. And so you might as well just bring it to him and say, hey, I'm having an issue with this coworker. What should I do here? But I can tell you in the past, when people have done that to me, I was pissed. Because why didn't you just tell me? If it was a problem, why didn't you just tell me? Why did you have to go to a supervisor first without even giving me a chance to be a part of the solution? That either way, there's a risk. But he may not be the type of guy like me that says, why didn't you talk to me? He may be the type of guy that if you try to talk to, it's going to make things worse. So I don't know this guy and his personality. I just know my personality. And if somebody escalated it without talking to me first, that would make me cause more bad feelings than if they just talk to me. I'm not going to get upset because somebody needs to communicate to me about how I do my job. But then again, I think I'm mature enough to not be upset.
But see, that seems to be the thing there is, nobody really knows each other. We just work together.
Well, are you more scared of this guy, or are you more scared of like the supervisor? Are you more scared this guy's going to be pissed that you went to a supervisor, or are you more scared that he's going to go to a supervisor if you try to tell him anything?
Well, I think the second one, because anybody can say anything, and then it's not on record.
But he's not going to have, it's like, what's he going to complain to a supervisor about? That he was doing the job wrong and you tell him to do it right, and how dare you? He wants to continue to do it wrong. Like he's not going to win this. The supervisor's not going to take his side if he was legitimately doing his job wrong. So if in your head it is already at that point, because none of this seems like a supervisor issue to me, like where we're even close to the level where a supervisor needs to be involved. So if in your head it's already at that point where you have to think very carefully about the decision, then you might as well just go to a supervisor. You might as well just get one involved now.
Well, I might as well just,
according to you, no matter which path you take, it already has the potential to escalate. So you might as well.
I might as well, like you said, squash it at the smallest level, and they're like, hey, instead of having me do this all the time, make me do that all the time, and we'll see where both these dudes are at.
But you don't seem like you're not confident in your ability to do that.
Well, I think I'm more likely to be like, hey, put their feet to the fire rather than me waiting on them to bring me wood.
So you're talking about the switch the role thing?
Yeah, switch the roles.
Yeah, try that first. Just see what happens there, and then you'll have more data to make your decision with.
Yeah, let's just see who's waiting on me, because nobody's going to wait on me. They might have to wait a minute, but they're not going to wait 15 minutes every hour. I already know every inch of this building, every product that we push. Within 30 minutes to an hour, I know what's on sale, and I know what I'm going to be getting all day long. This is my life, man. This isn't just a job to me. This is my life. And, to certain people, they, I might be a white boy, but this is my dance. This is my dance, and I got rhythm, and I got flow, and I got hustle. And I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing it from my teammates.
So now is it this other guy too? Because I noticed you brought him in again. Is it not just this one guy?
Well, I mean, like I said, slow guy on the building side, he's got it. He just needs to pick up his speed. But on the feeding side, he's got it down. He's got it down. I can get it. Like I said, I can be 100% efficiency, and I can, we lose time in certain instances that don't even account for actual time, because by the time you click the computer, it takes 3 minutes to print out, and then it takes another 5 minutes to number them. You're losing so much time just before you even get a chance to build. So if I see 100, like I'm 105 with the slow guy, I'll be lucky to be 85 with the enthusiastic guy, because he adds steps. He does too much. He leaves me hanging.
You don't know that your lack of communication is not contributing to that, because if you gave him information, you don't know that number would not go up. Because you said originally he was doing it in a way that was not.
I'll have a hard time if I show you and you still don't get it. I really will.
Well, however you have to do it. If you think showing him is better, but you have to communicate to him in some way. You can't just expect him to automatically just figure it out. I just don't know why. If he was doing it right the first time, the first 3 weeks, were your numbers up? Was he at the 100% he was supposed to be at? And then when he changed it, that's when the numbers dropped?
Oh, no. About his best was probably upwards of 90.
Well, that's still better than what you get now.
Oh, that's still excellent. I still see that as excellent. However,
but if he changed things and nobody said anything, then that's part of the problem right there. Because why would he change back if nobody's telling him that whatever he changed is not working? Please change back. He might think that it's not affecting things the way you perceive that it is.
I don't.
But he needs to at least have that information.
I need to find a way. I need to find a way to communicate with my man, because he's a good person. He's a good dude. He deserves the job. But the little things matter, and I am apprehensive. I'm scared of confrontation because
That if you say it the wrong way,
I
it'll make it
don't
worse.
I don't do it so lightly in the past, but maybe I can find a way. Maybe I can find a way. Because like you said, oh, you've confronted people on panel. Well, like I said, you don't control my livelihood, and my beliefs can change at a whim. And you said something I didn't like, and I've said some crazy things to some people online, but I don't get paid for this shit. And
Wait, Leggy came back. Leggy, come up.
Yeah, please.
Leggy's back. Oh wait, that's not Leggy. Who is? Does anybody know Little Zoo?
I'm gonna take a restroom break. I'll let you figure it out.
Little Zoo, you need to cam up in the back first so I can see that you're human. And if you have a channel, please drop it in the back. Oh, they dropped off. Yeah, the stakes are higher with this guy. But I'm still trying to understand why an issue that should be just basic communication has turned into this. Is so fraught. Because I had coworkers and I've led a team, and I had no problem telling any of them when I needed them to do something different. None of I've had coworkers go to supervisors, but it was about stuff that they were going to go to a supervisor anyway. They were for all kind of reasons. And also, it was like an office full of women. I was like one of the few guys in the office, and they were very sensitive to all kind of different things that, to me, working in a different environment would it was not a normal coworker environment to me. It was very catered around keeping the women happy. But in a warehouse where you're all working on this machine together and you need to coordinate as a team, it does not seem a big deal to tell the person, hey, can you do it this way instead of this way, so that the team, we can get the flow, get the thing to flow. I would have no problem if a coworker told me any of that. Hey, fill the pallets. Hey, bring the pallet where it needs to go before you do this thing. That's just basic day-to-day coworker communication. Of course, I had issues at my last job over exactly stuff like that, where I was doing basic communication and the coworkers had a weird, nasty, passive-aggressive, hostile reaction that I had to take to a manager. So I'm not saying that his fears are without justification either. Of course, in my case, I didn't see it coming. I thought I was doing basic communication. I was completely surprised at their reactions each time. Because in a normal, functional workplace, those reactions would not happen. And I still believe that. I believe that was an indication that of the health of that workplace. That these coworkers were allowed to act that way. And that is one reason I left. That was one of the things that played into my decision to leave, is that I did not want to work in an environment where that was the norm. I'm very much a team player when I'm at a job. In my mind, we're all there, we're all on the same team, and we're all there for a larger goal. And so when coworkers become the obstacle to that, there's some other dynamic or priority at work other than the team goal, and that should not be happening in a healthy, functioning workplace. We should all be able to communicate as a team and get the job done. And coworkers can do that with me because I'm there for the team. I'm a team player. So if a coworker needs me to do something or has an issue with me or needs me to change something or has a question of why I'm doing something, they can easily approach me with that, and I can put it, I can see it as part of the larger team goal.
And that's why I say about like the amount of time going through at least at a minimum a full year's circulation of the market is because the hardest times will be the test. I do think that over the next at least couple of months will be a good time to, bring up things before the heat of the summer. But let's ask, let me ask these questions before the 4th of July. And see what comes out the other side. And see how as much as my job means to me and what I'm willing to do. Let's see if it means that much to them and say, hey, this isn't working. Adjust fire. And these are your objectives now. These are your principles. These are your fundamentals. These are your priorities as far as what you see each and every time you turn that corner. Because it's only going to get harder. And if you want to have easy days, as the year goes round and round and round, you really have to hustle on the hard days, and there can't be any waste. No waste, because the long days will be long days, and waste just makes them longer. So if you appreciate a short day that you can get away with, just imagine a long day with zero waste. You're still going to put in 13 hours and you didn't waste a single ounce of energy. You took no breaks. It's going to be a long day. How much longer would it be doing what you're doing? We'll be here for 20 freaking hours. And then you're going to call out the next day because you worked an entire day. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to see anybody live like that. I come from a different world. I'm sorry that I even think this way sometimes. But I've been through it, and nobody deserves it. It's not warranted. There should be another shift if that's the way people are going to be. But this is 100% doable. Get your thumb out of your ass and stop thinking and start doing.
Well, I don't fully understand why that's so hard to tell them. It seems very simple. It's so simple, like anybody could do it. Anybody could tell this guy, "Hey, can you just put the pallets in or bring the pallets to the back?" It seems it's very basic coworker communication. But for some reason it's not, and that's the thing I'm not picking up on or understanding. But then I don't know this guy either. Don't know anything about him. I don't know his personality. I haven't seen him work.
Well,
I just
not
know if it was
scared.
me in the job and I wasn't doing it the way that y'all needed me to do it, and nobody told me that, and next thing I know, there's a supervisor talking to me about how I'm doing my job. The very first thing I'm going to say is, "Why didn't you tell me?" It seems very simple. You could have just told. Why didn't you just tell me? And I don't understand, looking at it from the outside, why you don't just tell him. But then you have reasons that possibly of why you're not telling him, partly
Well,
related to your ability to pull it off successfully and not have any like consequences from it.
well, let's put it this way first: is that I did break down in writing and showing this is how it's done, and I spent months showing and showing and showing on both sides of what we do over here. And
Does he have the writing he can refer to?
yeah, I'm not sure if he kept it or not,
Oh, do you have it?
but it is fundamentals.
Because that makes
And
it even easier to say, "Hey, just refer back to that thing that you wrote or that I wrote for you."
okay. And then that fear of confrontation comes from not so much that I'm wrong, is that if they push back and they eliminate themselves, whether they quit or get fired, I have to start all over again. And that is a bigger fear, is having to start fresh all over again.
So you might lose, but then you might get a person that's doing the job right. You worried about losing him as a coworker? If you just tell him how to do his job, he's going to suddenly not want to do the job anymore.
Well, to me, it's not a coworker; it's a teammate. It's somebody that can fulfill the obligations when I'm not there.
I call that coworker.
You call it a coworker, I call it a teammate.
Coworkers are teammates. I mean, working is a team, so they're both. It's to me, it's the same thing. Coworkers are teammates. But teammates, to be a success, any team will tell you that to be a successful team, you have to be able to communicate. If you have teammates that you can't communicate with or are worried about communicating with, that is not fully a team.
And that is something that I have so passionately defended, is the work itself, the mission work is nonverbal communication. If we need to actually have words, chances are they are with a supervisor, and it is a switching of products or redesign of the line, or something that is outside of the norm of the 1, 2s, and 3s. And so when it comes to that, yeah, it's like, let's sit down, have a powwow, and draw up lines of how we're going to handle that stuff. But the conduction of the mission is literally pick it up, put it down, take it away. Pick it up, put it down, take it away. That's 1, 2s, and 3s. It's fundamentals. And when those fail because somebody wants to do their own thing, yeah, It'd give anybody
Is
a hard time.
that the company saying this should be nonverbal and nobody should communicate, or is that you saying that? Because that's just, it's weird to me that would be a team expectation, is to never
It's
talk
my
to each other.
it's my thing.
Okay.
It's a me thing. It is 100% a me thing. That
'Cause
there is no reason why I pick this up and I leave an empty spot and you don't know what's going there.
I could think of a bunch of reasons somebody might not know.
But if you're brand new, then it's not me telling you what goes there. You should ask what's going there, because I've already explained it, and then ask me, say, hey, I see X, I'm missing Y.
You might have an expectation you're bringing to this team thing that is not.
Well, am I the one that's confused, or are they the one that's confused? Because if they're confused, they should ask questions, and then I will give them answers, and then they will learn. I've been through this both ways. It's like, hey, I could say, hey, you're only going to be here for an hour. You don't work over here. I need this here. And they put that there. And then, it's a very slow process because you're only filling in for somebody else. But if you're going to make this your life, ask me what goes there. Once I tell you what goes there, please stick with it. You might ask me a dozen times. But after 3 months of asking me what goes there, I'm like, what do you think goes there? You filled that hole 1,000 times. What do you think goes there? I'm sorry. I'm losing my shit a little bit.
StreamYard just knocked me off.
I'm sorry, Jeff. I'm losing my shit a little bit. I don't want to talk about my work anymore.
You okay?
Yeah. Saturday night.
Okay.
We don't have to make it about me, or maybe it's better if I just tell you that I love you and I respect your opinions and your insight in speaking with me. If anybody has learned anything, be brave and step up and in your own comfortable way to make things right in your life, because you are the only one in control of what surrounds you and how you interact with it. It's tough.
But also don't jeopardize your job unnecessarily either. So I'm saying communicate, but then there's also been issues. I've had jobs where I did exactly that and people had weird reactions and went to supervisors. So I'm not saying that I don't know this. I don't know the guy. I don't know the situation. So I'm not saying you don't have anything to worry about, because you might. Sometimes you do basic communication with your coworkers and it blows up. But I also don't think that's a healthy team or a healthy workplace in the first place. So if you're worried about keep losing a guy like that, I wouldn't worry too much, because if he's the type to blow up or escalate because you told him how you need him to do the job and you lose him, I don't think that's really that huge of a loss. It opens the door for some healthier teammate to come in that you can actually work with. But you don't know any of this without trying to communicate and seeing what happens. So it's hard to predict ahead of time. But also, we don't have to talk about any of it anymore if you don't want to.
Yeah, I don't know how you're going to spend your Saturday. I don't know if you're going to stay up or do another live or anything like that.
I actually don't know either. Like if I'll be out later tonight. It really depends on what happens with the rest of my day. I do have to go out at some point and get some errands done.
Well, let me say thank you for having me as always. I love talking with you, and to any of your listeners who are listening, peace be with you, and enjoy the Saturday. If you're up later, maybe I'll find you, and take care of yourself as always. But I'm gonna
All
be
right.
out. Okay.
And also with you. Yep. Take care too. I'm glad you came up. And have a good rest of your Saturday. Look at that. All right, folks. Well, we're almost at 3 hours. I think that's a pretty good Saturday. If anybody wants to come back up, I'll keep it open a little bit, another 5 minutes or so. Otherwise, I'll start wrapping it up. I gotta go feed myself. So yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen tonight. I may be out, I may not be. So if you see me, you see me. I'm sure we'll have fun. And I hope you have a good weekend. If the weather's nice where you are and you're getting a spring, go out and enjoy it. If it's gray and rainy like it is here, I hope you find something cozy to do. Let's see if there's any news last minute. Peace talks. Strait of Hormuz. U.S. naval destroyers have crossed the Strait of Hormuz. Well, oh, I know. Let me see if anybody else is out. I can redirect you to. Zat is out. Let me see the Zats. Hang on, I gotta set it up. Okay, there you go. All right, let me. I'm trying to hit 3 hours. Yeah, so communication based in my world, and I get in trouble a lot. So I'm giving you the ideal advice, but I can't say I'm giving you the advice that's going to actually yield the ideal results. But in my world, I just use my mouth. I just talk. I tell people, but that does not always have the effect that I intended to have when I open that mouth. So there's an art to using your mouth to pass on information to other people. And it's usually a vibe thing. Depending on the vibes, if you say the right thing in just the wrong way, are not just quite perfectly right. Some people can have weird vibe reactions that can cause the situation to spiral or escalate beyond what you had intended. I don't think basic communication should be this fraught. or as fraught as it is, but for some reason, with some people, it is. Now, I will say this: I think with psychologically mature adults, it should not happen. It should be very rare, and they should be able to course correct in the moment without it becoming a big thing. But everybody is at different levels of psychological maturity, and you can have different levels of psychological maturity within the same person under certain situations or pressures or tensions. So it's not a linear constant. It's a variable. So I guess try for communication when you can. If you don't think you can pull it off, or if you don't think it's going to work because of something about the other person, sometimes you do have to find other approaches or other tactics, and sometimes that is involving a third party. But in my experience, that usually, like, the more people you have to bring into it, the more it magnifies the situation and reduces the potential for some quick and easy and simple resolution. So I have a lot to say about conflict in the workplace, how to make it happen, and how to avoid it. So he's not completely wrong to be a little bit worried, but also if they've been working together this long and the guy was doing it right to begin with, I don't know why he can't just be redirected onto the original way of doing it. All right, that's it for Saturday. Have a good one. If I don't see you tonight, I'll see you probably on Monday. So, take care, everybody.